Have you ever wondered what's the pinnacle in which us as humans can use our minds to achieve? How we can turn any outside circumstance and turn it into internal well being for ourselves. This sort of inner peace that's unbreakable. And at the same time, we can control our own conscious thoughts to experience and put ourselves in certain states and to manifest whatever it is that we wish. That is what I want to break down for you in this video. I want to show you a better way to use your mind. This is going to be a pretty quick video, so pay attention. So we're going to let this circle represent your mind. And we're going to put a division here because these are the two states of thinking that you can be in. So this is going to represent our mind, aka our thoughts. Up here at the top level, this is the higher state of thinking. We're going to call this Zen. Down here is all of the scramble. All right, so this is, as we going about our day, this is the state that a lot of us usually get in. And within this state, a lot of times we just thinking about that which we do not desire, so undesirables. We may be thinking about coming up with a lot of different narratives or stories about how people may feel about us or just our past actions or whatever it is. In this state, we're just thinking about a lot of nonsense, things that we really can't control. But the more we thinking about it, the more it's affecting us because it's making us think about life in a way that maybe we don't want to be thinking about it. That's bringing our own vibration down. We're going to call these lower desires or fixations. Basically fixating on problem situations, probabilities that it just don't really matter to us. And it's just a lower state of thinking. It's bringing us is bringing our own inner reality into thinking about things in which we do not desire to hold within our life, in a way that which we do not desire to see life. Basically, it's like if you can see life in any way possible, how would you want to see it? This is the point where we just start to let our mind run on autopilot. And a lot of this honestly happens from what we consume. So I'm pretty sure you already know this, but all of this is just to bring everything to the forefront, right? So what we consume equals what we think about. It honestly controls your vibration until you repolarize your mind. And this is why understanding the law of polarization, the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect is very important, and understanding how to use it, right? So what we know about the mind is the most powerful unseen force that you possess. This is how you control your life. You control your life through mind. Life is mental. So the better grasp you can get on understanding the operations within your mind, understanding when your mind is stuck in scrambles, stuck on an autopilot, thinking about that which you do not desire to manifest. You need to bring your mind to the awareness of that whenever that's happening. And then understanding what it feels like to bring yourself to a higher state of thinking, more mindfulness. And in this Zenful state, basically what you're doing is you're taking control of your mind. You're taking back control of your mind by understanding, being conscious of the thoughts that you're thinking and the mood that you're currently in. Understanding, right, through the law of cause and effect, that everything you think matters. Everything you do, everything you think matters and in forms of cause and effect, right? If you want to create change in any form, that if you want to be in the seat, the engineer, the master of your own reality, your own mind, your own way that you want to see the world, right? Using and invoking your own God powers, you need to understand cause and effect. You need to understand being conscious of your own thoughts, because the thoughts, the actions are the cause, and they will bring effects towards you. So if you're not thinking the thoughts that you want to be thinking, right, they will bring effects to you that you don't want. So really understand cause and effect in that sense. Within this Zenful state, now what do we want to be thinking about rather than just letting ourselves run on autopilot with all of these here that we just don't want, that we don't desire to actually be within? But the reason why our minds can sometimes get stuck in this scrambled situation where we're thinking about things that are undesirable. We fixating our minds on problems and issues that which we cannot control and just really don't matter, is because our minds like to be stimulated. So if you're not taking control of it and taking control of the stimulation, it will start to become stimulated based on that which is undesirable to us. Especially if we have been consuming some content like TikTok, like most social media, a lot of stuff that's just BS, right? When we just consuming content about the world in general, whatever it is that you're consuming, it can take over and have you thinking about life in a way that which you probably don't want to be thinking about it. And the truth is, there's a such thing as an outside world, and there's a such thing as an inner world, an inner reality. And a lot of the times we operate off of half truths. So just because you see content where there's some BS going on that makes you hate something or start dislike something, it's easy for your mind to see it in a way where, well, that's just how the whole world is, when that's actually just a half truth. There's multiple different realities that exist within the outside world. Within that, we want to pick and choose which reality we are anchoring our own inner world into. Now, obviously, for most people, it's going to be one centered in more peace, more good nature, right? More feeling good. Why? I don't know why we want to fill our own inner world with hate and thinking about all of these things in which we do not desire. And using our zenful mind, when we bring ourselves back to the conscious awareness of our own thoughts, we want to think about things that we actually desire. Even within that, you can have critical thinking, which most people already understand and know this, because it's not that we don't want to be thinking at all. But if you're going to think about something, think about a problem that you can solve, something that you control. That is through critical thinking. If it's not that, then think about that which you desire, right? All of this is basically to polarize our reality, our inner reality, our own reality, one that we construct based on our own inner being. You can separate that from the outside world. That's really what you want to do. Towards you can make your own inner reality whatever you want. You can see the world in whatever way you wish to see it. So ask yourself, how do I want to see the world that is beneficial to me vibrating at a higher rate of good vibration, that people will want to be around, that I want to be around, that I want to reside in, right? That makes me feel good about being alive, right? So polarize our reality towards higher vibrations, higher vibrational moods and thoughts. That is what I mean when I say you want to focus on that which you desire. That and whatever habits, whatever things that you want to do in your day that bring effects that you want to have. So a big one for that for us would be money as well, right? We want to construct better ways on how to get money, whether that's finding a new job, enjoying your job even more, doing better at your job, finding a new career, coming up with a business, learning how to save more money, how to invest, just these good habits, right? You know, we want to focus our desires on these things here, basically. Besides that, within this more zenful state of thinking, which you want to be in majority of the day as much as possible. It's okay to let yourself fall down here sometimes, by the way. Like, it's okay. The longer you stay down there though, and the more you like, the more importance you give to this scrambled state of thinking, this lower state of thinking, this lower mind, the more it's going to start to control your vibration. So even when you're in the state of this lower mind based on whatever you consumed or just whatever happened to you in external as well that you might have internalized, now you just thinking about it, just sometimes you got to remind yourself that it just does not matter as much. None of this matters as much as you being in control of your own mind, you bringing yourself back to mindfulness of what it is that you desire, right? Your own critical thinking to solve the problems in your own life. Right, polarizing your reality towards the way that you want to see it and the way that you want to be within it. Within that, in a zenful state of thinking, one of the best things that you can do is contemplation. Continue contemplating on your own life. This is going to make you more wise. This is going to give you a more centeredness and structure framework of life in general. Right? Because a lot of us, when we were younger, we got to the point where we started thinking about, well, what is life? Like, what is all of this? Then it gets to a point where it's like people told you, well, it don't really matter. Just live it. You know what I mean? It's like, no, wow. No, keep contemplating on your life. None of this of what you're experiencing is normal. And when you actually start to understand, right, which I'm going to get to that point too, but once you really start to understand, everything that you're experiencing is God. Everything that you're experiencing is Like life in general is a higher experience. It's supposed to be goodness. It's supposed to be graceful. It's supposed to be great. Your experience that you experiencing is supposed to be great. Not to say that the outside world needs to look great. You got to pull your detachment from the outside world. Needing to look a certain way, because you control your mind. Ultimately, you are in control of your own mental state, and you need to take control of the conscious thoughts and the polarization of your own reality within it. So yes, continue to contemplate on your own life. That matters a lot. Within that, make sure you're understanding your laws: law of polarity, law of vibration, law of causation, law of correspondence, as above, so below, understanding how everything here is God. You are made in the image of God. And then the last leg on this contemplation is philosophy. And this can also go along with the study of God. So obviously God here being the biggest one. Dive into whatever religious studies you want to, whatever scholarly studies you want to, whatever forms of philosophy. Me personally, right now, I'm big into Hermetic philosophy, whether you want to dive into Hinduism, Buddhism, whatever works for you, right? This is how you bring your state to the kingdom of God. Whenever you're thinking about God, obviously we will never really truly know the inner nature of God. However, when you're thinking about God's creation as a whole and how God created everything, not only does it bring your awareness to the beauty of the world, and I feel like that's part of the reason why God created mankind, is to experience the beauty of its creation. So thinking about God, you're able to think about how God created everything and how God shows up in everything that you experience. And you're able to start to see the beauty in the world. You're able to start to see the beauty in life in general. Right? All of this is important for the polarization of your own reality, being seated in higher vibrational moods and thoughts. Right? This is how you start to think from a higher mind. You're not just seeing everything just for what it is, but you're seeing it for the deeper meanings behind what it actually is. That happens as well as you studying the laws, and philosophy is based on that as well. You want to contemplate. You want to spend a lot of time contemplating as well. Nothing in life is general. Stop trying to, nothing in life is normal. We have to stop trying to normalize life so much. None of this is normal. Everything is God. Everything that you experiencing is spiritual. There is nothing that is normal. Even this physical reality is just a mirror of that which is spiritual. So if we stop thinking about God, if we stop contemplating our own life, and we just live it, then what is the meaning? Like, that's how we get lost in illusions. That's how we get lost in these lower states of thinking, these lower states of letting our mind get controlled. Like, no, we want to keep contemplating. We want to spend a lot more of our time thinking about God, trying to understand God, understanding God's creation, how God and the realization of God in our present life at all times, how God is everywhere and nowhere at the same time. How God created everything that we experience. And I don't want to get too deep in that, because I want you to think about this in terms of the way that you want to think about God and the universe as a whole, right? I'm gonna get into videos later about how I see things based on Hermetic philosophy. However, this is for you to dive in whatever you want to dive into. And when you dive into it from not a form of ego and trying to figure out this is how it has to be. Like, no, we don't know how it is. Let's just say it's everything. Every different religion is right. Every different way of philosophy is right. Whatever one works for you. There's no ego with this. There is no one specific way. But this is just to keep your mind focused on that which matters. And when you do that, you're bringing your vibrational awareness, your mind, to the kingdom of God. This is how you can say, this is how you think like a God. This is how you think like a God. Trying to see life through the lens of God as much as you possibly can. You won't be able to, but if you start to understand just a bit, and I'm pretty sure you already done dove into a lot of things. I know a lot of these things that I'm explaining, you probably already know a lot of this already, right? But this is just to bring it back to your awareness. This is just to bring everything to the forefront, just so it may be a bit more clear in your mind of what it is that I should be focusing on and what it is that I need to bring my attention to, and understanding when I'm not in that state. You know what I mean? So a lot of us, we say we put God first, but cause and effect, right? How much time do we spend thinking about God? How much time do we spend actually doing the actions. How much time do we actually spend studying God and studying the creation? Right? How much time do we actually spend doing that rather than just say we put God first? No, what we say got to be followed by our actions and what we actually do. So spend a lot more of your time digesting to understand God, to see life through the lens of God, even if you're not studying, to bring your realization to how God is present in your life every day, and bring yourself to the realization of how the universe works, how the planets work around you, the laws, right? How everything is created. This is the study of you, the study of where you come from, right? A lot of people want to try to ignore this, like saying we shouldn't be contemplating, we should just be living life. Like, you're literally setting yourself up to be stuck within the illusion, to be polarized by the illusion, because what you consume is what you think about. So if you're consuming more of this is what you're going to be thinking about. This is what you're going to be thinking like. You're going to be treating people better. You're going to be treating everything better. You're going to be treating yourself better. All right. And within that, understanding your laws, so you got the master keys to control your own reality through your mind. When you understand the laws, you understand how to use the laws, because one thing for sure is we are controlled by the laws of the universe, the laws of nature. We are controlled by them. So if you understand them, you know how to use them to create your life. And then philosophy, which ties back into religion or whatever ways you want to use to better understand life. One other thing I do want to definitely mention is state change. So when you understand how to change your state, this is very important, because, and this is going to happen through willpower. You need to understand that when you are polarized, first of all, movement creates motion. So when you start consuming things, when you start thinking certain thoughts, you are creating a motion in which your mental state will now run on. And if it's something that is undesirable, right, it is going to be up to you to use your willpower to start changing those thoughts or changing what it is that you're consuming for long enough for your state to change as well. And this is all based on vibration, not only mental vibration, but your own physical vibration as well, because what you think about changes your mood. So when you start getting good at changing your own state, which is simply just switching the polarization. So if you're thinking on one extreme, if you're thinking about hate, then changing your state by using your willpower to start thinking thoughts that are more aligned with love. And this goes from everything, because everything has an opposite, right? So if you're thinking about that, which you do not desire, and is bringing you to a state of vibration you don't want to be in, it's a lot of BS, it's a lot of cloudiness, and you think like, dang, I want to start being more mindful at this point in time. All right, start bringing your thoughts to that which will make you more mindful, things that you desire, right? Things that you want to be thinking about to have within your reality, thinking about how great the world is, thinking about God, thinking about the laws of nature, thinking about, plans to get more money or your career, right? Thinking about philosophy, right? Bringing yourself back to the creation of God and how everything around you works, right? Whatever it is, learn how to change your state, but you only change your state through willpower, through your own willpower, right? This is how you do it. And now I want to end off just on this note of, if you do have a tough time changing your mind, changing your state of being, having a better control over your mind, I want to just show you a little, I hope I explained it well enough. I want to show you a little example principle that might help. So this is you. You are little mind. This is you. Everything that you know yourself to be, your personality, your identity, your thoughts, right? Who you believe yourself to be. This is you. This is your mind. Your mind comes from the big mind. You can call this super consciousness. You can call this the mind of the universe. You can call this the mind of God. This is where your mind comes from, is this big mind. And this big mind is full of all possibilities that can be created or thought about within your little mind. Understand that you, right now, who you believe yourself to be in your mind, how you use your mind in general on a day-to-day basis, it is completely malleable. It is completely changeable. It is changeable through will. So you pull things from out of this all possibilities to be impression onto your little mind. All right, through will, desire, conviction, you have access to this big mind as well. And the Kabbalion, the way he liked to break this down, and what I feel like helps a lot too, is he calls this the masculine. The author calls this the masculine, and this being the feminine. Now, the law of gender is a law within a universe. Everything is gender based on feminine and masculine energy, right? Right. It's not negative or positive energy. That is not what feminine or masculine is. The masculine is the spark, right? It is the will. It is a spark. The feminine is the creator, right? The feminine takes the spark, which you can say is the will, and creates based off of that will. And that's how we know babies are born as well. The masculine provides the spark, the seed, and the feminine actually constructs the baby within a womb. All right. So this is how your mind works as well. So this is you. This is you. Your mind is the female principle, the feminine principle. It takes what can be constructed from the spark, the will of the big mind, and it creates you. It creates whatever it is that you want to think about. It creates your identity, whatever you want to be impression onto your mind. You take from here, take from that masculine spark. This is the only reason you can create and think, is because of this masculine big mind, right? That has all possibilities, that gives you the willpower to impression whatever it is on your mind that you wish to have, or that you wish to desire and experience at that time through your desire, conviction, and willpower. So if you ever feel like you are stuck thinking certain thoughts, you're stuck, being a certain way, and that certain point, it might feel like it's hard for you to change your state. It's hard for you to state change. Understand this concept that you are never stuck one way, right? You are never stuck one way. All it needs is willpower, and for you to understand that you can impression whatever it is on your mind. That is kind of why it's important for you to understand meditation as well. So you can bring yourself back to a more neutral state. You can bring your mind back to a neutral state, because movement creates motion. So when you're already in a certain motion and way of thinking, it might feel like it's hard for you to state change and switch that motion to something else, because what staying in motion usually wants to stay in motion, and it's hard for you to switch it, right? But you need to understand that you can do that. That is within your power. And the more you're able to do that, right, by literally just switch what you're thinking, switch what you're consuming, and force yourself to change that state, basically, by what you're thinking and what you're consuming. You learn how to state change, and it's very important that you learn how to do that. Just remember, movement creates motion. So if you want to change the way you've been thinking, if you want to change what you're doing at a certain time, you have to use your willpower to start creating that movement first. Once you create that new way of, like, say you're going over here and then you want to switch and go over there, you have to think new thoughts or just do something different, and then pull yourself over there. And it's going to be hard at first, but give it 10 to 30 minutes and boom, you in motion over there now. So you can easily change your state. Once you get good at state change, like, you can really accomplish a lot of things. You can accomplish a lot, but you can't fall victim to being in one state and feeling like you can't state change. Like, that's what causes the issues. If you're thinking thoughts that you don't want to be thinking, just understand that you just need to start thinking new thoughts through using your willpower. And that this is really you right here. This is the real you. When you go to sleep and you don't have dreams and you're not really conscious, like, this is you. And all possibilities can be born into your own impressionable little mind. All right, this is your beliefs and the things you kind of attach yourself onto that, you place within your own identity and personality and what you're thinking at that time. This is completely malleable and changeable here. And you change that through willpower, through understanding that you can think and be whatever it is that you want to be. And whenever you make these connections here that I'm talking about, I hope I explained this well enough, but I'm going to be explaining these in later videos as well. So subscribe if you do want more of this kind of content and you do like these kind of talks, right? If you do want to keep your mind more focused on this, to help you with life in general. But this is a big thing for sure, is learning how to change your state through willpower, All right. You can impression whatever you want onto yourself, this current mind that you're thinking with. You can impression anything. You can impression any imaginations you want, any beliefs that you want, any thoughts that you want. and they all come from out of this masculine principle of all possibilities, this spark of in which your feminine principle can take the seed and then start to create whatever it is that you want within your little mind. I hope I explained that well enough. I'm still getting better at explaining all of this myself, but you know, not gonna let that stop me from making these videos and helping whoever needs to hear it right now. Anyways, if you got something out of this video, leave a like, subscribe, comment, or whatever, and I'll see you in the next one.